Zabulistan, Persian, Pashto, Zabul plus Stan, originally known as Zavolistan, is a historical region roughly corresponding to today's Zabul Province in southern Afghanistan. Zabulistan translates to "land of Zabul" or "land of the Zabuls". The name of Zabuls is probably a transliteration of Zunbils, a Hindu and Buddhist dynasty that ruled the area during the Islamic conquest of Afghanistan. History of Zabulistan. Babur, founder of the Mughal dynasty in the 16th century. Records in Babur that the territory south of the Hindu Kush between Kandahar and Ghazni is generally known as Zabulistan. According to Persian mythology, city of Zabul in eastern Iran was the birthplace of Iranian hero Rostam. Buddhist and Hindu Shahi period. From the 7th century to 11th century, the region was ruled by Shahi kings. Later, it was conquered by the Ghaznavids of Ghazni. Zunbils. According to book writer Andrei Wink, in southern and eastern Afghanistan, the regions of Zamindawar, Zaman-i-Datbar, a land of the justice giver, the classical Arkozia, and Zabulistan are Zabul, Jabala, Karpisha, Kirpishi, and Kabul. The Arabs were effectively opposed for more than 2 centuries, from 643 to 870 AD, by the indigenous rulers the Zunbils and the related Kabul Shahs of the dynasty, which became known as the Buddhist Shahi. With Makran and Baluchistan and much of Sindh, this area can be reckoned to belong to the cultural and political frontier zone between India and Persia. It is clear, however, that in the 7th to the 9th centuries the Zunbils and their kinsmen the Kabul Shahs ruled over a predominantly Indian rather than a Persian realm. The Arab geographers, in effect, commonly speak of the king of Al-Hind, who bore the title of Zunbil. Quote, according to another book by William Bain Fisher and Richard Nelson Fry, one of the most important aspects of early Safarid policy of significance for the spread of Islam in Afghanistan and on the borders long after their empire had collapsed was that of expansion into eastern Afghanistan. The early Arab governors of Sistan had at times penetrated as far as Ghazni and Kabul, but these had been little more than slave and plunder raids. There was fierce resistance from the local rulers of these regions, above all from the line of Zunbils who ruled in Zamindavar and Zabulistan. Quote, Islamization. The region of southern Afghanistan was first invaded by Muslim Arabs from Zaranj in what is now Nimruz province. From there they marched toward Bast, Kandahar, Zabulistan, and reached Kabul. In 683 Kabul revolted and defeated the Muslim army. But 2 years later Zabul's army was routed by the Arabs. We are told that it was only in 870 AD that Zabulistan was finally conquered by one Yaqub, who was the virtual ruler of the neighboring Iranian province of Sistan. The king was killed and his subjects were made Muslims. Quote, one of the most important aspects of the early Safarid policy of significance for the spread of Islam in Afghanistan and on the borders of India long after their empire had collapsed was that of expansion into eastern Afghanistan. The early Arab governors of Sistan had at times penetrated as far as Ghazni and Kabul, but these had been little more than slave and plunder raids. There was a fierce resistance from the local rulers of these regions, above all from the line of Zunbils who ruled in Zamindavar and Zabulistan and who were probably epigoni of the southern Hepthalite Chianite kingdom of Zabul. On more than one occasion, these Zunbils inflicted sharp defeats on the Muslims. The Zunbils were linked with the Kabul Shahs of the Shahi dynasty. The whole river valley was at this time culturally and religiously an outpost of the Indian world, as of course it had been in the earlier centuries during the heyday of the Buddhist Gandhara civilization. Quote, Sakhawan, a pilgrimage center. Various scholars have recorded the importance of Sakhawan as a major center of pagan pilgrimage. It is related that, Amir conferred the governorship of Zabulistan on Fardgan and sent him there at the head of 4,000 horses. There was a large place of worship of the god June in the country, which was called Sakawan, and people used to come on pilgrimage to the idols of the place. When Farda had arrived in Zabulistan, he led his army against it, took the temples, broke the idols in pieces, and overthrew the idolaters. Some of the plunder he distributed among the troops. The rest he sent to Amir. Fardahan, the governor of Zabulistan region around Ghazni under Amr ibn Laith, plundered Sakawan, a place of pilgrimage to god June, which was within the kingdom of the Shahis. The activities of the Safarid brothers on the Indian frontier attracted special attention in the Caliphate thanks to the care they took to send exotic presents from the plunder to the Abbasid court. Yaqub, for instance, at one time sent 50 gold and silver idols from Kabul to the Caliph al-Mu'tamid, who dispatched them to Mecca. Another set of idols lavishly decorated with jewels and silver, sent by Hamamra in 896 from Sakawan, a place in the Logar Valley between Ghazni and Kabul, which the sources describe as a pilgrimage center dedicated to god June, caused a sensation in Baghdad on account of their strangeness. See also Zabul Province, Zabul, Zunbils, Abu Ali Loik, Zamindawar.